While Ugandans fight hunger, Museveni wastefully spends billions on the army and himself. The source: being kind is sharing. The best thing you can do is subscribe to these channels so that we can keep giving you engaging educational content. Minister Musasizi, who is also a member of parliament for Rubanda East, claims that the government plans to purchase 15,000 preferred shares for Shs 202.13 billion. However, a number of issues with the proposed shareholding arrangement were brought up by MPs on the Committee of Finance, Planning, and Economic Development, to which the government proposal was forwarded for review. Members of the committee questioned if the government was making an investment in this or if the building company was simply receiving tax shillings. 2. President Museveni ordered the Ministry of Finance to release at least Sh 630 billion to enable salary increases for all UPDF soldiers and to pay for terminal benefits for numerous generals who are retiring. And taxpayers pay for everything. They pay and suffer unfairly as a result, and the tyrant takes pride in his victory. In the upcoming batch of retirees, at least 34 general officers are expected to leave the Ugandan Army's active service. 3. Mr. Terence Howard's flight technology. Yoweri Museveni welcomes Empire series star Terence Howard to Uganda. Impressed by actor's flight. American actor Terence Howard has impressed Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni with his innovative aerial technology. Terence Howard's flight technology. The actor and technopreneur, together with his wife Miranda Pack, visited Museveni and shared with him how his flight tech can be adopted. Terence pointed out that his technology can replace drones and helicopters in service delivery. I had a fruitful discussion with American actor and technopreneur Mr. Terence Dasson Howard and his wife Ms. Miranda Pack. On this note, Terence Howard is criticized by Bobi Wine for going to Yoweri Museveni to introduce his flight technology. Sickening. Terence, an actor, has received criticism from Bobi Wine for visiting President Yoweri Museveni to discuss his new aircraft technology development. Recently, Howard traveled to Museveni to discuss his creation, a flying device that can take the place of drones, helicopters, and airplanes. The lawmaker compared Howard's trip to those of Kanye West and Akon, whose visits, in his opinion, didn't do much for the nation. Actor Terence Howard has come under fire from musician-turned-politician Bobi Wine for going to Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni to announce his discovery of aviation technology. I'm sure he done some homework before visiting Uganda and was aware of the terror General Museveni's regime is causing the country's citizens, Bobi Wine stated. Terence might not be aware of what Terence might not be aware of is that Museveni has hosted numerous other cunning purveyors of false optimism previously, the official said. The source: being kind is sharing. The best thing you can do is subscribe to these channels so that we can keep giving you engaging educational content. 2022, Uganda's hunger for your knowledge. Life is difficult there and is unlikely to get any easier anytime soon. For this nation, things are more difficult. Everyone strives to make ends meet on a daily basis. Police reported that 25 people were detained in Jinjia during protests against the country's soaring food and fuel prices, and that 17 additional people were detained on Tuesday, as protests against sharp rises in food and fuel prices in the country of East Africa descended into violence on Monday. Police opened fire with tear gas and detained at least 8 suspected protesters. Food price inflation more than doubled to 13.1% in May, according to latest government figures. Protesters burned used tires and blocked the busy Kamulai-Jinjia highway, about 80 kilometers, 50 miles, east of the capital Kampala, demanding the government subsidize dietary staples. We have information that the protests were planned by politicians. Prices of fuel, food, and other basic goods have rocketed globally because of the Ukraine war, hitting vulnerable countries in Africa and elsewhere. In his annual State of the Nation address in June, Museveni said, "Cutting taxes and subsidies, especially on imports, is suicidal because our people may buy carelessly and we end up draining our forex, foreign exchange, reserves." Former presidential candidate, Dr. Kizza Besigye, and fellow political activist Samuel Lubiga Mukako were also charged on June with inciting violence for leading protests against inflation, which has hit the country hard. Nearly 50 people have died from hunger in the Karamoja region of Uganda, with many residents now eating grass to survive, lawmakers said 8th Tuesday, July. On Tuesday, the Prime Minister, Ms. Robina Nabanja, told MPs in a meeting that a consignment of 200 metric tons of relief food had been dispatched from the Prime Minister's office to Karamoja. She said distribution of relief food had been halted in other areas of the country to focus on Karamoja. This question of hunger crisis in Karamoja was discussed in Cabinet, and the Finance Ministry was tasked to urgently provide SHS 135B to procure food relief for 3 months, including seeds for planting, Ms. Nabanja said in a statement. Where are they, though, is the question. Despite the fact that Bobi Wine has finished, they are still promising. We can see that President Museveni is actively pursuing ways to first increase UPDF salary. Because they are not the armed forces who can fail him, the government did not burden to raise salaries while teachers were on strike. Museveni is buying soldiers' goodwill by giving them money because he is so afraid of losing the seat. When I advise you, listen and implement. You must use all the combined elements to subdue the enemy, Museveni said while officiating at the passout of over 100 platoon commanders and more than 450 Armor Crew servicemen at Armored Warfare Training School Karama in Mubende district on Friday. Some of our people are starving to death because they do not have food. By July 8, Uganda had registered 46 deaths to starvation, with 2,181 households waiting to die over the same due to the dire state of famine that is ravaging the Karamoja sub-region, Karamoja MP, Faith Nakut, told reporters. Nakut is concerned that residents have started eating grass as the only alternative to survive amid a month-long drought that is ravaging the region. NUP donates relief food to Karamoja. The leader of NUP, Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi, alias Bobi Wine, handed over the foodstuffs that include 2.5 tons of beans and 2.5 tons of maize flour to the leaders from the sub-region at the party head office in Kamwokya, a Kampala suburb. During the flag-off ceremony, Bobi Wine warned security personnel against interfering with the process of giving relief aid to the people who are affected by hunger and drought. Our crews are present in Karamoja, where they spent the day distributing food to our Karimojong mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers who are starving to the point of death. Because there were so many barricades in the area, they had to move without being seen. The assistance was really appreciated by our people, and it is still being provided. Let's all take action to support our neighbors who are in a critical state of need. Above all, let's do everything we can to save our nation from these degrading conditions. The source, being kindly sharing. The best thing you can do is subscribe to these channels so that we can keep giving you engaging educational content.